Good morning. Before I head into work, I just want to give you guys an update on the sewing project. I meant to do that before I went in or left the house, but the sewing project almost done. I've got the strap, or like the band, the neck, or like the front band and the back bands. They're about to be pinned on. I've got the straps, the shoulder straps, all pinned in or sewed on, and then all I have to do is get the buttons and the bottom hem, and then it's all gone or done. I've got 2 more rows, 13, 12, 11, 10, 3 more rounds of this left to do. And I think that's all I have to update y'all on right now. I do want to talk about my phone right now though. Just in case you're somebody that gets a lot of spam messages, you can turn your phone on to do not disturb, which is what I have right now. Oh, also I bleached my hair. But turn your phone on to do not disturb and only allow contacts from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Because I think the do not disturb, well, like once it's done, you'll get all the messages that came in during that time period. Spam messages mostly only last from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. I think sometimes they'll go till 7 p.m., maybe 8 p.m. So I might have to check in on that. But I had an egregious amount of spam calls this morning. Within the time period of 8:11 and 9:30-ish, I received 9 phone calls. It's so bad right now. Anyways, I'm gonna go into work. I don't feel like scrubbing through this whole entire video, but the HHN menus have dropped. I cannot find any links to it on any websites, and I don't understand why. I did my best to try and keep my eye out for any of the vegan options, and I'm not gonna lie, it's really, really small amount. So I think the plant-based, like completely plant-based options are a vegan walking taco, fried pickle spears, house-made chips, and then a fried PB&J, like bites. It's really disappointing. Like, they've had vegan walking tacos so many years now. They've had fried, like, house-made chips every single year. They've already had fried pickle spears, and I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't impressed with them last year. I'm a Southerner. I love deep fried pickles. This ain't it. And then the fried PB&J thing, this is just another reiteration of the deep fried PB&J hot honey thing, and it's probably not going to be as good. This is so disappointing as a plant-based eater, and I will absolutely be filling out that survey on opening day. I normally don't because I'm usually too tired at the end of the night to do anything, but if there's anything that I have to say, it is the fact that there's no plant-based options. Yeah, okay, there are plant-based options. The issue is there's no creativity in it. Like, why is the only option that's like kind of new, kind of different, the PB&J? Like, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I'm not sure if the jelly is actually going to be vegan. If y'all don't know, jelly is made with gelatin, and gelatin is also made out of animal parts. I'm not a vegan, so I feel like I can consider myself lucky with this. But the plant-based eaters who come every single year don't have very many options because it's just the same thing over and over again. They might as well just eat before they get there. And like maybe the plant-based community is much smaller than I think. But at the end of the day, that's still like the only vegetarian options. Like, if you're not pescatarian like me, I have at least 2 other options. Let me not count desserts. I feel like the PB&J can count as a dessert. So let's take that one out, and it's 3 options for the vegans. That is so unfair. Like, why aren't they thinking of anything innovative? Everything is just about eating meat. I know I'm sounding like really picky about this, but like, this is the least amount of money I've ever spent on HHN this year. I don't think I've dropped a single penny on HHN merch, nor will I spend any money on food this year. I'm probably packing my own lunch. Fried pickle spears, that's the only thing that looks semi-interesting to me from the plant-based options. Outside of that, for the fish options, there's only 2 fish options, and it's the fried catfish and it's the shrimp tempura. Oh, I didn't even check the price for the shrimp tempura. I need to look back at that. Hold on. The fried pickle spears, by the way, 4 of them for $10.99. The twisted tater chips, $10. Oh, I was so right. Actually, I undershot it. Deathbringer tempura shrimp. Crispy shrimp tempura roll with a sriracha mayo and eel sauce. $12.99 for one shrimp on a stick. I'm not spending money this year. There's a couple like drinks that I'm kind of interested in. There's like Granny Smith apple drink. What's it? The caramel apple splash punch. It's Bacardi Superior Rum, Granny Smith apple syrup, caramel syrup, and lemonade. That's probably one of the only drinks I'm going to get. That one and maybe, hard maybe, on the Fanta bar one, because I do love orange creamsicle. But guys, I think my wallet is saved this year. The merch hasn't been great. I'm not a fan of any of the IPs really, except for like Sinners and Ozzy Osbourne. But even then, I don't think I'm a collector of either of them. There's like one t-shirt, a ringer tee that I want, and it's the Lil Boo shirt. That one's pretty cute, and they have like a cute clear see-through bag. But outside of that, even then, I'm probably not going to buy either of those because I don't need another bag and I don't need another t-shirt that I'm just going to chop the neckline off of. Like, I love HHN, and maybe this is the best year for me to really step away from it, because I'm trying to like whittle my way away from the theme park community in general. I haven't been to any of the Disney parks in months. I'm really trying to think of the last time I went. I think it was like sometime in February, and we went to Epcot. Oh, well, I'm not going to count the times I go into the park to go crochet before traffic dies down. Luckily, we just ordered cup ramen, and it's the cheddar cheese flavor, even though it's supposed to be lime chili shrimp. There was a mishap in the warehouse, I guess. Good thing I like the cheddar cheese one. Well, I know I'm definitely an outlier in this, and I know that I don't have very popular opinions when it comes to HHN, but this is like a huge miss for me. Almost everything is a huge miss for me. I'm going to enjoy the park for sure. The scare zones look phenomenal. That's like the best thing about this year is the scare zones. I'll have to wait till Tuesday to see what the tribute store merch is. If there's anything in there that changes my mind, great. I'm sure the tribute store is going to look phenomenal. I'm just kind of bummed out as a fellow normally plant-based eater. Good morning. I'm working on one of the squares. 1 of 4. We're so close to being done. It is August 22nd, and I want to get this done, I don't know, by the 24th, maybe? By the way, I'm looking back at the menus because I may have missed some stuff, and I've had some words that I had said yesterday. One thing I want to say is that I'm very sad about not having the PB&J mixtape available, but somebody said that they see it, so I'm gonna keep on looking through. Also, I forgot to mention anything about mocktails. There are a lot more mocktails this year, which is phenomenal because I love being able to try these drinks. The one I want to try is the caramel apple smash or punch or whatever, and that one's one that I wasn't expecting to have a mocktail of, but I'm probably going to try both just because I love caramel apple. At least having that will be great. I'll spend my money there, and I know it's a sweet, and I know I talked about not liking any of the sweets or not wanting to try any of the sweets really, and I think I said that I'm going to be saving money this year, but with a mocktail, I think I'll be fine. But I did see a menu item that it was going to be elotes that was available. And elotes, if you don't know, are corn snack street foods from like the South California, Mexico area. And it's like a bunch of mayo and it's a bunch of like tahine. And I can't remember what the cheese is. It starts with a C. Cotija cheese. And it's so yummy. It's very messy. I always bring backup lipstick with me because of stuff like this. It's really yummy, and I'm glad that they're bringing it back. I'm still upset that it's nothing new. One of them has Flaming Hot Cheetos sprinkled on top, and the other one doesn't even have tahini on top. So, but I'm going to continue looking through these menus because maybe the people I watched yesterday, I didn't watch very many. I just almost immediately went to bed after I had that rant. But maybe the people I watch missed some, and I'm kind of hoping, like, there's a hub area in the back of the park where, like, last year FNAF was and Wyatt 6 was. There was no food options back there, and I think that was a huge missed opportunity. So maybe back there, there's something or more things. Apparently, they haven't had a booth with the vegan pizza skulls on it yet. I'm thinking that it's going to be in a restaurant, maybe Louis, to bring more people in. because I can't try the rigatoni pizza. But yeah, I'm not seeing where this person saw the PB&J mixtape. Apparently, it's at a booth called Funny Fair. So I'm going to look at that real quick because that's a very important drink to me. Okay, that's the one that's near Louis. That's the one in the little alcove where, I guess, Chomper or whatever they've been calling it. I don't know how you call it, but it's where the house where they were all like, I don't remember what that movie was called, but none of them were talking. A Quiet Place. That's what it was. That's where that food booth was. So it's there with the fried PB&J bites. I gotta tell my husband, I fell asleep before he got home last night, but that's a very important drink to us. And it's like one of the only drinks that I'll like actually drink year round instead of like avoiding alcohol all year because it just tastes so good. Oh, okay, that's exciting. That's one positive. So here's my compliment sandwich. I didn't compliment on top. Well, maybe I did because I love HHN. So that's the compliment. The middle, the sandwich part, it was me complaining about lack of plant-based food options. But then now I'm talking about the drinks. So I'm going to continue working on this. I'm going to watch more HHN videos. Let's get crafting today. I just recorded that whole entire last clip in slow motion. So basically what I was saying is that we finally got all of my sewing patterns onto Canva, and I will continue uploading as I order patterns because ordering patterns is another hobby of mine. It's not been a very active hobby, to be honest, because it's so much harder for me to find cotton fabrics nowadays. I don't like to wear bedsheet, believe it or not. It's just that that's the only like Halloween fabric I can find in my area. I've told y'all before, but to remind y'all, I kind of live in a religious conservative area. If it's any indication, there's still a tractor trailer like thing on my way to Lake Wales, the closest place that has like fabric, local fabrics or small fabric business, because I will not step foot in Hobby Lobby unless I'm doing the 5-finger discount, which even though I hate Hobby Lobby, I don't feel comfortable doing that. On the way to Lake Wales from my house, there's that trailer that still has Trump 2024. So if that's any indication of what's going to be in that fabric store, I know I can't judge a book by its cover, and it's the same thing that people think that everybody down here in Florida is extremely right-leaning when it's just gerrymandering. I just don't think that they're going to have what I want. So anyways, as I build up my inventory of patterns, I'm going to continue adding them here. I'm going to take a photo before I stick them in my pile so that whenever I have a spark of inspiration with any of the fabrics I have, I don't have to go digging through everything, because this is something with ADHD is that you're going to forget what you have. It sucks because there's just so many things that I feel like I could be successful at had I not been born neurodiverse, but we live. But going back to the crochet project, I did finish one square. I'm trying to work between projects because I'm at the very end of this task. And because I'm at the very end of this task, my neurodiverse brain does not want to work on it anymore. So I'm trying to like treat myself with doing other hobbies. As I was doing this, well, kind of, I did this as an in-between adding all my patterns onto Canva. I did start on another one. And then once I'm done with this square, I'm probably going to start on more bead crafting, maybe. I'm not going to get into the sewing room. I did tell you guys a little bit of an update. I'm so close to finishing that one. I know I can finish that very, very soon. Oh, I thought today was the 23rd. My eyesight is getting worse. It's the 22nd. So I want to try to get this done, all these squares done by the 24th and at least halfway sewn up. So once these are done, I'm going to block them. And then I'm going to start sewing or crocheting up with the glow-in-the-dark yarn the other squares that I have sitting over there. No, yeah, there. It's sitting over there just because I don't want it in my way. But I'm getting so close to being finished. This is phenomenal news. I shouldn't have crunched this hard. I don't know how much y'all are going to be able to see of this. This is the square that's been blocked. And here is a square that hasn't been blocked. Let me get it all lined up. As you might be able to see, there's this right here and this right here from the blocked piece. And this is not blocked. So the blocking does help a little bit, or the way that I did it. So I'm going to block these off soon. This is all done. I finally finished it all. and I don't feel like going outside right now because it's about to start pouring, and this guy is having a mental health issue. We're gonna start sewing these together while watching Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and I've got to tell you, it's so funny. It's such a funny movie, and I wanted to watch it with my husband, but I don't think it would pop up again for me if I didn't click on it now. So we're gonna watch that while attaching these. I am in like the first, maybe the second scene where I don't know if you've watched Killer Clowns from Outer Space, but it's a scene where the couple is getting chased by the clowns, and they just made a balloon animal dog, which I think I knew about, but I forgot. But a balloon animal dog that started sniffing and chasing them, and it's so funny. It's so campy. As I sit here watching these 90s Halloween commercials, I don't remember if I told you guys I was watching them, but after Killer Clowns, I watched a little bit of Magic School Bus Halloween specials, and now I'm on 90s commercials. I saw a commercial for a pound of candy, and it was $1.93. Jesus Christ. Because nowadays, I think 5-pound bags, or maybe is it 1-pound bag? I don't know. I need to double check. I haven't gone Halloween candy shopping yet, but I know they're really expensive. I know there were a couple bags I bought last year that were like $25 at BJ's, and people complain about trick or treat not being a thing anymore, and it's because of this. Most of us can't afford to pass out candy. Like, this is the one time of year, $1.88 for a family bag size of Snickers. Like, I don't get it. This is the one time of year, like I was saying, that I spend money, and I'm always going to be that house that has candy for the trick-or-treaters because I want people to love Halloween as much as I do, if not more. But that's such a shame. That's what has been taken from us. The flavors have been taken away. I'm looking at you, Reese's, and you guys are making us pay 10 times the amount. Such a shame. To update you guys on this, by the way, I've decided that I was going to slip stitch around the edges in a way. I'll show you once I finish stitching, doing the mattress stitch right here. Slip stitch with the glow in the dark yarn, and then use the bamboo yarn to mattress stitch it in. The bamboo yarn itself is very slippery, so I can't do it on itself. I can do it on an acrylic or polyester yarn, and it will stick better. So here's what I've got so far. I've got 2 rows of this, and you can kind of see it, because the way I was doing it, I was slip stitching it together and it didn't look good. And then well, at first I tried single crocheting it, and it just kind of like flopped over, and I don't like the look of that. This is a nice solid flat line, and you can still see the color of the glow in the dark yarn without having to see the yarn of the bamboo yarn. And if you do, it just kind of looks like this, and it's much more even as opposed to doing a mattress stitch with the pink yarn. I didn't do the top when I did the slip stitch around. I don't know why I didn't, but now I don't want to go back and fix it. So I think what I'm going to do, once I'm done with doing one sleeve, like up vertical this way, I'm going to slip stitch across this way because they're already attached. And then I will do another mattress stitch thing around inside this way. I may have messed up by not going across, but I'm really liking what's going on here on the spine. That reminds me, yesterday at work, I asked the guest if they needed a bag, and they's like, no, it's fine, save the world, you know. And I immediately retorted, yeah, we gotta do what we can as peasants. And like, looking back at it, I hope she didn't think that I was calling her a peasant. I mean, in general, we're all peasants. I hope she didn't take it offensively. I didn't mean to say it as in she's a peasant. I definitely meant it as a collective group that what we're doing isn't enough, and not to give up on it, but like to be aware that the billionaires are the problem and not us. So anyways, I got a bad feeling about this. We have quite a bit of yarn, but I don't think I'll have enough for the whole entire thing. I do not have time to order more. I don't think that my Michaels carries it. I don't want to go all the way to Kissimmee to get another skein of this. Dear Lord, this was a mistake. Oh, what do I do? So we got the spine of one sleeve done. Honestly, I might not even need 3 of each, but I already made those squares, so no, I definitely need 3. I'm going to put together these 4 later. I need to go block the other ones. I'm going to go block those. And then I'm going to start with the spine of this one for the next sleeve. And then if I run out or if I'm very low, then I will reconfigure from there. But for now, this is what it's going to be. Maybe this was my way of trying to save yarn by not doing this top. Ah, jeez. I made a mistake, I think. Before I go to bed for the night, I finished 2 more little guys. These ones I'll put into my trading pile for now. I don't know, I just don't think they'll do well at markets. And then, oh shoot. I went back and fixed this guy because it was just so bad. I didn't feel comfortable putting him and trading him. We've got 4 for the trade pile, and then we have 1 that's just without a keychain in the trade pile. They're so cute. I absolutely need to make more. I have more lobster clasps, and they're not like this. They're going to be a metal one. I couldn't find a cute one. I might, if we go to Daiso, then maybe I'll find something there. But if not, then I'll order it online and then get little clasps, maybe heart clasps and star clasps to attach them to. I did look for bat ones, but they didn't have any that were just like just the bat. This has been so much fun to make. I wish my crochet was as fun. Good morning. I am in the sewing room and I'm so close to finishing this. I'm so close, y'all. But I had to take off the waist or the neckband, whatever is it called, the band at the top, because I, 1, sewed it upside down, and 2, thought I sewed it on the wrong side. I was on the right side, it's just upside down, so whatever. But now that I'm looking at this, I had already done the little side where the buttons go, and I wasn't supposed to do that until after the top band was done. But like, I had to take the top band off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, you know, with this thing, rip the seams once I'm finished sewing this back on. And then I'm going to go back in. This is so close. We're so close, y'all. So close. I think what I'm going to do, once I get the top band done and then I readjust the buttonholes, I might do the hems, but that's a big maybe. And then I'm going to leave the buttons for another day because that's a whole different task and I don't feel like doing all that. I need to edit the video that I have saved right now. Oh, I was supposed to do the hems before I did no. Whatever. Anyways, I'm going to go edit our hype list video because today is the first day of HHN team member previews. I don't want to release it today. I just don't feel like it. But I do feel like I need to get it edited. I do have a little bit of a plan. I don't think I'm going to change the thumbnail for this one. Maybe. Hard maybe on that one. Maybe while we're watching Killer Clowns from Outer Space, because I did convince my husband that we need to watch it together. I watched like the intro scene and then the second scene. Well, the introductory scene. Then whenever I started working on the crochet portion of of this outfit, but also the top stitch of everything, I was really focusing on that and I had a hard time watching the TV while doing it. So I didn't really watch the movie. I know what happened in the movie. I understand what happened in the movie. I don't even remember the ending, to be honest with you. So I think today we're gonna sit down and watch that together. And if I feel like it, then I will do a thumbnail. If not, it's no skin off my whatever. What's that saying? It's no skin off my back. I'm not really trying to get popular anyway, so whatever. Currently also, I have the rest of the squares drying outside. Yesterday was not sunny at all. In fact, there's a bunch of videos coming from the Disney area where it was basically a monsoon outside. There were people stuck on the Skyliner, which really sucks, in the middle of a thunderstorm. And I'm a little bit surprised that they didn't have people off of there. But I think that storm really came out of nowhere. I don't know if you guys remember, but our meteorology team was kind of cut. So, you know, good old US government for you. I bet you that's part of the reason why nobody was warned. I know a lot of people like to say, oh, you can't trust the meteorologists. They don't know what they're doing. And it's like, they do. They absolutely do. They have a lot of knowledge. They go to school. It's just that you don't understand probability, except for when maybe it comes to gambling. It's basically gambling on the weather. There's also videos of the Canada Pavilion. Their umbrellas snapped in half at the top. So that's how I know that it was an unpredictable weather thing, because there were so many things that happened that led up to this. Because usually when a storm like that happens, we'll hear, or there will be a thunder or a lightning warning. So the radio calls, I know you can hear them very loudly at Universal. I don't know if you can hear them at Disney, because they kind of have like earpieces now. At Universal, you'll hear very loud walkie-talkies with a loud beeping sound. That's a weather predictor thing that's saying, hey, this is what's happening in the 10-mile radius. Be prepared. And then that's when you go outside to pull down the umbrellas. Like I said, the fact that the people were stuck on the Skyliner and the umbrellas were broken in the Canada Pavilion tells me that this storm came out of nowhere. Anyways, we're off topic. So that's one of the things I wanted to study when I was well, I don't know if I wanted to study it, but that's one of the news segments that I was actually a fan of when I was a kid, because we played Fox News all the time. I'm so glad that I did not turn out the way that my parents wanted me to, because that's a miserable life. But yeah, let's get back to this so I can start editing and then watching Killer Clowns from Outer Space again. Okay, yeah, I messed up again. I was wrong. I was supposed to sew it onto the outside, but I sewed it on... No, did I do it to the outside? Yeah, you're supposed to sew it on to the inside. The way that this is worded is really weird, because like there's right or wrong side, and then like also like it's the thing is, most sewing patterns say right and wrong side. This does not. This is a Lady Marlowe pattern, and usually I'm pretty good at reading these patterns and understanding the photos. This ain't it. And this is why wording is standardized when it comes to patterns. Just like with crochet patterns, wording or pictures are standardized. A single crochet is always going to be a single crochet unless you use UK terms. But you notate that when you write that in the patterns. This isn't notated the way that I'm used to reading. No offense to Lady Marlowe, because I love her patterns. I love that she caters to the vintage costumers. But I've messed up on this band twice already. And I've also messed up on the shoulder strap because I wasn't supposed to sew that down. That one was on me. I'm going to take this apart, and then I'm just going to reattach it. And then I'm going to do this tomorrow before work, because I'm not having a good time anymore. And I'm just going to keep on messing up if I keep on working on this. I don't have time for this. Today is Monday. Tomorrow's Tuesday. I work tomorrow. Wednesday is the last day that I really have time to do anything. I still have to sew on the whatever for my bag, and then I still have to sew up the whole entire crochet top. This is the most important part. The crochet top, honestly, at this point, I can go without. I mean, I do have other outfits I could wear, but I procrastinated so hard on this. This is bad. I'm about to start crying. Hold on. I finally finished the top band, but I believe that the top band doesn't measure up to the actual pattern. I might be wrong, but this happens every single time, and I do change my seam allowance quite a bit, but typically I keep my seam allowance at 5/8 of an inch, and I think every single seam allowance in this pattern is 5/8 of an inch. I'm sorry, the lighting is awful. Let me move you guys over here. I don't think that this top band matches this. It's going to have a raw edge because this is on this side. I don't know, y'all. I'm just so frustrated with this pattern. I'm kind of tired of working on it. Everything I do just seems so wrong. I'm not taking it apart once again. I've never been able to successfully work this jumpsuit. The top I've been able to do, and the top theoretically a little bit harder because there's so many more pieces. This just doesn't line up. The instructions don't make sense. I love Lady Marlowe patterns. This just is not it. So if you need any reminder of what this pattern is, it's Lady Marlowe 3356. Maybe I need to reach out to her personally, because I'm just really struggling with this, and it's really frustrating. Reread the instructions. It's 3/4 of an inch of seam allowance for anything with a small circles, or 1/2 inch on all other edges. So I'm already wrong, because I'm at 5/8 of an inch, which is definitely not 3/4 of an inch. I don't know where 3/4 of an inch would be. That would be like one more, yeah. It would be one notch over. and then 1/2 inch. I'm dumb. Yeah, you're definitely supposed to read the instructions before, but like, why wouldn't they notate it? I don't know. I don't like that it's notated this way. So absolutely it was my fault for not knowing what the seam allowances were. But like also, I don't think that it should have been this big of an issue. And I also hate that that's the way that the seam allowances worked. Why isn't everything standard? That's a huge issue. Maybe I'm just mad. I'm just mad because she doesn't use the proper terminology from wrong side, right side. And like, to be fair, I am somebody that complains about wrong side, right side, and I'm somebody that would prefer a easier way to read it, especially as a beginner. I just don't like that there's so many different seam allowances in this. So I'll have to redo this again in the future. Maybe I'll remake the shirt. It's a 36-inch bust size, so I'll have to look back into it. This is just so frustrating. At least now I know. I'm not gonna remember this the next time I work on this, probably. It's just so frustrating that it's in like a tiny font instead of pictured on the pattern when there's plenty of space on the pattern to indicate instead of just doing tiny dots. I don't know. It's very not ADHD friendly, and that's, I mean, it's my fault for being ADHD, I guess. All right, guys, we finally got this down. We've got the sleeves reattached. I'm glad that I'm using a bed sheet for this because it was significantly cheaper. I'm sad that this bed sheet's cute, but, you know, it is what it is. I'm probably not going to wear it that often anyways because it's bed sheet. That being said, I learned a lot about this pattern, and I hope I remember this the next time I pick it up because I do want to do it again. I think I might go for a higher size because I don't think I'm a 36-inch bust anymore. I don't know. It's kind of tight back here. But also, I am wearing this sweatshirt underneath. If I were to wear something underneath next time, it'd probably not be a sweatshirt. It would probably be something a little bit thinner. I typically try to wear stuff over. I don't know. It's just, I'm not really a under type of person. So things that I've learned are the seam allowances on this. I do all my seam allowances 5/8 of an inch just because it's easier for me to remember. But this has 2 different seam allowances, and I didn't know that. As somebody who suspects that they're dyslexic, but is absolutely ADHD and cannot like focus on reading, which really sucks because I love stories and I love people storytelling, but I have to be able to read and hear at the same time. It is a disability. My brain, my eyes will keep on glancing down to future things. Having the picture next to the pattern instructions really helps if they're using the correct terminology. I don't want to sound like I hate Lady Marlowe's patterns. I really, really love and adore that she makes a lot of patterns for costumers, but standardizing or using standard vocabulary is really important when you're making stuff like this. I know I'm a beginner and I'm probably never going to advance much further than that, and then it's why I don't feel comfortable selling sewn clothes at markets or ever in general. Okay, so when me and Erie Knots did our first trade, I didn't feel comfortable selling it to her because I don't think I'm a good sewist. She loves it, but personally I can see all the flaws and I don't feel comfortable doing that. Unlike with crochet, I know my stuff is very unique. I'm very well aware of the stuff that I make and I can customize. Sewing, I can't because I need instructions for everything. Anyways, getting back to the point. There's a 3/4 inch seam allowance and there's also a 1/2 inch seam allowance. And according to the dots on the paper, that's how you're supposed to do the seam allowance. Personally, maybe because I always use simplicity patterns, that's where I learned to sew. I like when the seam allowance is dotted or indicated on the pattern itself because, like I said, I suspect that I'm dyslexic, but I'm absolutely ADHD. I'm not going to be able to see all these words on here and know what it means. This is with this. It's all the way in the beginning of this, so I didn't think that I had to look back to the very beginning of this to see this, which makes sense. This is a general rule. I feel like the general rule should be on the pattern, and then everything else in the instructions should just be the instructions. But that also might just be me. I don't know how other sewists feel about this, sewists who use patterns. It does give it up here as well when you're marking the patterns, so maybe I'll go in the future and mark them myself, because I do have a bunch of tracing paper, but I don't feel like that should be something that I should do. as somebody who's buying a pattern. That being said, I might go back in and make this blouse right here. I loved this blouse when I first, well, I didn't love it. I kind of actually didn't like it at all because I was like, this doesn't feel, it feels too tight on me. Like I said, I might rebuy the pattern in a bigger size because it was really tight here. Now that I know that there's different seam allowances, I might understand that it might be a 1/2 inch. Well, if it's a 1/2 inch seam allowance, then that's probably why it doesn't fit. And 6/8 or 4 3/4 of a seam allowance. That's bigger than what I use. So at the end of the day, I need to get a bigger pattern. But anyways, now that I've caught you up to date with what's going on here, I've got to add the buttons in the back, and then I got to do the hem. I think I'm going to take another break because with the buttons, I can sew them in at the hotel, and I plan on doing it. The crochet, I'm going to go check on it to see if it's dry, but I doubt it because it looks like it's overcast right now. I might just stick it in the dryer, which sounds awful, but like, I did this to myself. I procrastinated and we're here. I need to sew in the lining for the bag as well. So I'm gonna find a pillowcase from my pile that looks like this because it's going to go as the lining. That's the only way I'll feel comfortable about selling my sewing, except for maybe this back collar, which I do plan on making bigger sizes to help me learn more about sizing and all that. I'm gonna find a pillowcase from that pile and then line it. I don't think I'm going to shape the lining at this point. I'm cutting it way too close. The lining I can also hand sew if I really want to, but I'd rather machine sew. If I hand sew, it's easier for me to, yeah, I have to hand sew it. So that's something I can do in the hotel as well as hand sewing the buttons. The crochet, ideally I can also hand sew that. I want to get that one done sooner because hand sewing that takes way longer than this. So I'm going to go edit our Hypeless video. Also on Wednesday, I have to edit this video because we won't be in the house on Thursday. So I won't be able to upload it on Saturday because I edit the videos, the weekly vlogs, on Thursdays. And then I have it upload on Friday, not Saturday. I don't know what I'm thinking. So the beginning of next week's vlog is going to start on Wednesday night, maybe. I will also have a separate vlog on our HHN vacation. I mean, it's technically a vacation. We're not going to be in the house. It's a staycation in a way. I might get back to do this today. I'll let y'all know if I do. If not, tomorrow morning, I can absolutely do the seam, the hem, and then figure out the pillowcase situation. Not gonna lie, I don't want to line it. I've started pinning it all in, and as I'm pinning this in, I realize it's just too long right here. Oh, I didn't even do it on the right side. Oh my god. Okay, let me try it again. If it doesn't line up down here, I'm not sewing a lining. I'm crunching, y'all. This is the worst I've crunched. I know I probably said this last time, but this is absolutely the worst time I've ever crunched. I've never been this so stressed. I've never been this stressed. All right, it's all lined on the inside. It doesn't fit, but I think that's something I'm gonna go back in and fix because I don't have time to do it now. Or in the future, I'll be a little bit more diligent and I'll work on it with more than just 1 week left or 3 days left. There's a little gap on this side because the lining doesn't fit. On top of that, I want to add a few pockets in here. So that's future me will do this. I did a really poor job at stitching this on anyways. So that's that. We got the little bat on here. We just attached it to one of the crab stitches here. It's fine. And then I have my little circus bag in here. I've turned it into a messenger bag because I prefer messenger bags anyways. And it's not so tight that I hate that. This is fine the way it is now. I'm probably going to stick my water jug in here. If not, my husband has a water jug. But whenever somebody needs or wants to come up to me and trade, I have these right here ready to go, and if they have something better, I can pull out the whole entire bag. So the bag accessories portion is done. I need to go check on my crochet. I'm sure they're still wet. The sewing, I have the hem and the buttons. That's all that's left. And then I still have to do my editing, which I think I will finish that much later tonight because my husband's going to be playing video games, and while he's doing that, I can just put my earplugs in and then still be in the same room and all that jazz. This little guy's so cute. All right, well, that's the update. We finished the hem. We finished everything else. Not the best thing in the world, but you know, we move on. Gotta do the buttons. I can at least get the button holes sewn on tomorrow morning. I think I need to reline them, which is fine. But outside of that, this is done. I'm gonna go check on my crochet squares. I doubt they're dry. I really do. I think they're dry enough. These ones down here, they're not soaking wet anymore. Up here, not soaking wet. Still, like, not damp, but they're not soaking wet. So we're gonna take them off and then we're gonna work on them. Good morning, folks. It is Tuesday, the 25th of August. Let me show you the progress I've made on my bolero crop top. This is one sleeve. I do not want to sew in anymore. This is a lot of work. And although I think it's going to be really pretty when it's done, realistically, I don't think I can finish it. Instead, what I'm thinking of doing is taking this beret. I've left a little, like, front loop only things around the edge. And I'm going to crab stitch all the way around. And that's how I'm going to add crochet to this outfit. I just have too much on my plate and I procrastinated this a little bit too long. It's my own fault. I know I could have finished it earlier, but it was just, I knew what would happen if I was making a bunch of squares. I think in the future I probably won't do as many squares, but I love the extra added detail right here, and that's why I did it. It's going to look really nice once it's done, but Thursday is not it. So all I have left are buttons on my dress and this. I'm going to attach my little bow here. I gotta find the bow. Oh, I think it's in my bedroom. Actually, I know where it is. Attach it here. We're going to work on that tonight because it's just crab stitch, and I'm also going to add crab stitch around here. And then if I have time, then I will work on this. And if I can finish it, then I'll bring it. But I don't think I will. Realistically, I just put myself in a corner. It is what it is. I'm going to continue getting ready for work. Just had to come in here real quick because I didn't finish editing my video until like 11:30 last night. And I was like, I'm not waiting for it to finalize and all that jazz. I'll see you guys later tonight. We're in the bathroom because we've kind of already started packing for HHN. And I have a couple things that I finished tonight. As you notice, I'm wearing a beret with a little spider on it because I finally glued it onto something. I did a little crab stitch around this edge and then a crab stitch around here. I attached the bow so it kind of looks like it's matching. And we gotta flip it around. I don't know what it looks like back there. And I hope you guys can hear me. I don't feel like grabbing the mic. And then here's the front. So this is one thing. This is the crochet replacement for the outfit on HHN opening day. I didn't even feel like working on the top. I think I burned myself out. We'll get back to that eventually. I'm gonna go put this into my luggage. We also made a couple more things. We made more candy. They all say grotesque, but they all have the little white letters in there. And I don't really like the way that the patterns worked out. So this is gonna go into the trade pile. And then I have one more bat, and this is going to go to Clark. I think they just texted me because I asked them about the Center's house and how I should manage my expectations. I'm so nervous it's going to get the fallout treatment. Good morning. I finished the dress. I finished the buttons. Everything is done. I still don't really like the fit up here especially, but that's probably because I didn't follow the seam allowance. I want to make this dress again because now that I know the seam allowance thing, I might actually know what's going on up here. It's pretty comfortable. I do have to button it up right here and then twist. And that's pretty frustrating, but that's kind of vintage clothing for you. For some reason, everything buttoned up in the back. But nowadays, we've got a lot of ease of access stuff. I can always ask my husband to help as well. Well, not always, because sometimes he's not here. It is a little bit lumpy in the back, and that's probably because I didn't measure it out properly. And honestly, I'm not too concerned about it. I'm never going to sell this. I will not be selling clothing anywhere in the near future. There is a small, minute chance that I might sell capes and capelets, but I would prefer doing crochet for that because I feel much more confident in my crochet than I do sewing. Oh, here's the length, by the way. Goes all the way down to like my mid calf, which is fine. Like, I don't mind. This is a bed sheet, so it's going to be pretty thin, I am wearing shorts underneath it. I am not wearing a tank top underneath it. I'm going to be bare arms out, which is a new look for me. I'm not somebody that normally shows my arms. Yeah, I'm not liking this, but that's okay. I can just hold my arms down and never lift them up. Except for when I'm hugging Hamikuma. I'm so excited to meet Hamikuma. I think I might give them a Hamikuma single. Maybe I can make them a little teddy bear. I do have time now. So maybe I'll make them a little teddy bear with Hamikuma. Well, not Hamikuma single on it. I do have a little bit of time, like I said. But now I need to go start editing this video. And then I'll give you guys the final. Today is Wednesday. I will give you guys the final update on everything I worked on this week. And then I'm going to start packing for HHN and getting ready for HHN because it's literally right there. Tomorrow is the day we leave. Woo! I'm so excited. I was watching a podcast too of women in the HHN community. And I'm not going to lie, I wish I was brand friendly so I could go on podcasts like that because I feel like it would be my kind of community. And also on top of that, I wish I wasn't as shy as I am. By the way, if you're watching this video and you see me and you want to come up to me and give me something, feel free. I know I joke around and say, don't come running up at me. Yeah, like, don't come running up at me. But, like, I am a nice person. I have RBF, and I'm also very, very socially anxious and awkward. So if it seems like I'm uninterested, that's not ever the case. It's literally that my brain functions a very different way, and I have to, like, change my, I'm going to post this dress out in my Discord. Well, not my Discord, but in a Discord group I'm part of. It's the crafting Discord group. And I was telling my husband this last night. I'm really happy to be part of this Discord group because we're all crafters. So we're all busy. So it's not loud. It's not a very big Discord, to be honest, but I don't mind having the notifications on for this one because, like I said, everybody is busy making things. So they're not blowing up the notifications. And it's so pleasant. I think in this video, I talked about the amount of spam calls I've been getting. I am on the verge of just turning off my notifications for everything, except for obviously the messages between my family, my friends, people I have in my phone. I don't want notifications anymore. It gives me anxiety and it kind of like diverts my mind away from the task that I'm doing. And I know that's the point. I know a lot of companies know that's the point. If they send you a push notification, that means, oh, I remember that this app exists. I turned it off for RedNote a while back, and I haven't been on there in a while, but that's my crochet inspo app. And honestly, I kind of want to get back into it so I can see my crochet inspo again. Kind of miss getting inspo from there, but also I've been so busy doing everything else. Anyways, I need to stop yapping so I can start working on the editing. I do like the shape. I will be making this again, learning more about the seam allowances and possibly ordering a larger size. I don't know at this point because this is so loose. I don't know if I need a larger size, but that could be a seam allowance thing. So, all right, see you guys in a couple hours. Before I start talking about everything that we worked on this week, I just want to tell you guys how sad I am of learning that both Dolly Parton and Tim Curry passed away. I learned about Tim Curry about an hour ago. I learned about Dolly Parton on my way out of work, and I've cried. I've cried so much. It's just such a tragedy for both the queer and goth communities. Like, the amount of work that Dolly Parton has put in for so many people, the way that she was in general, so accepting and loving, and being one of those very few Christians who actually understand what it's like to be Christian. I've seen somebody say it before, but had the actual Christian church acted the same way that Dolly Parton was, I would have never deconstructed. She did so much for literacy. She did so much for humanity. She was a humanitarian. It's so unfair. It's so unfair. And then Tim Curry. I have a coworker who's special interest. I don't know if it's just voice acting or Tim Curry in general. I know he's devastated. I'm sure he's probably going to take some bereavement about this. This is so sad. There's a joke that used to go around about, like, your favorite Tim Curry character proves your personality or something like that. And I don't know if I had a very favorite Tim Curry character. but he was a phenomenal voice actor. He was a phenomenal artist, actor in general. And he stood for so much of the queer community, the horror community, just in general. What a phenomenal guy. And like a while back, it was teased that he passed away. And then he had to come out and be like, no, I'm actually still alive. But this one was for real. I looked it up and his death date was yesterday, the 25th. I'm probably going to cry about this again. I'm devastated. What a loss. Anyways, I'm sure you guys heard my dogs screaming and crying because their dad's not in here yet. But I'm going to talk about everything that we worked on. I'm going to try to be fast about it because I need to start packing and maybe making that bear, whatever, crochet thing. Give me 1 second. I got to put some stuff down. Starting off, we've got the base of this mushroom beret. I still need to sew in the ends, as you can see. So I'm going to throw it into my pile over here. And I will sew it eventually. Just today's not the day. I don't feel like it. Hold on. Somebody is calling me. Just kidding. It's spam. And apparently you can still get phone calls, like the annoying sound while you're in the middle of a call. So the record, by the way, for one day of phone calls was 18. 18 spam phone calls between the hours of 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. Okay, I think my husband's finally coming in. So I will finish this thought soon. We're in the bathroom because I already started packing a little tiny bit. But here's the first thing I finished this week. It's very fun. I can't wait to work on it again. It's already coming apart over here, but that's fine. You're going to keep on hearing the dogs barking because my husband is coming in and out of the house because he's doing some car repair stuff and then also something else outside. I don't remember exactly what it was. And then he's going to come inside and do the light in the kitchen. I posted this in the Discord that this is the bag I'm wearing. So if you're watching this and you're in that crafting Discord, look out for this bag. We're going to be out there. I don't know. You'll probably be at opening day HHN instead of doing this or watching this. So if you see it afterwards, sorry, y'all. We got some more candy. This is the last bit of candy. I don't know. I might make some more throughout the year. But this is the last bit of candy before HHN. Honestly, I'm thinking about it. I might pick up some more. I just got some more beads. I gotta stop. And then we've got my Crabstitch Beret. Very cute. Love the spider on there. And I'm surprised it's still on there, to be honest. That E6000 whatever glue works like a charm. Hopefully it doesn't fall off. I'm going to bring it with me. Hold on. While I'm still thinking about that, I'm going to pack my glue. I forgot that I made another keychain for my friend Clark. Clark, this is for you. And it's cute. And I know you like purple, so hopefully you enjoy this little guy. And then last in the suitcase is this dress. I'm happy with it. I'm sad that I didn't know what I was doing, but that's what sewing and practicing is about. And this is why I don't feel comfortable selling any of my sewing work. But now I know what I'm doing. I may or may not purchase a new pattern. It really depends because like all the insides are so raw and I didn't even worry about this. I know I'm going to come back to it and be like, oh my God, I did such a terrible job. And like, I'm already feeling that, but I have to remember that I am a beginning sewer. I'm not advanced just because I've worked on sewing for 5-6 years now. I'm a beginner sewer. It's fine. Will be fine for me. And I will work it up again once I get better materials. Well, not once I get better materials. I should be practicing on bed sheets. And that's another thing about like losing Joanne. At least now that when I buy my fabrics, it's all just cheap bed sheet or something from the big box stores that cost of goods is lower, if that makes sense. So I can practice a lot before I move on to better materials. Let's go to the front room where I can talk about the one last thing that I worked on. I already talked about the beret, yes. Yeah, one more thing that I worked on, and then I will close out this video and start the HHN vlog. Last but not least, we worked on this. And I wish that I had gotten it done in time. But to be fair, it's going to be really hot and it's probably going to rain. And I'm not going to want to wear this all night. I know that I made it out of bamboo and feeling it right now, it doesn't feel awful. But I think it will be better for later in the season when the weather is a little tiny bit cooler. In all honesty, I'm not that mad about it. I'm upset that I told myself I would do it and then didn't. But outside of that, I think this is just, it's fine. It's fine. It doesn't need to be perfect, and it doesn't need to be done right now. I can't rush art. That all being said, I am going to bid you adieu. I will see you guys on Tuesday. That's when the HHN vlog's coming out. And then we will pick back up with shop update stuff once all this HHN hullabaloo, however you say it. Once HHN opening day stuff is over, then I will get back into my crafting for my shop stuff. I will see you guys soon. Bye-bye.